Have you ever wondered why, out of millions of videos, this exact one caught your attention today? What if I told you it wasn't just random algorithms or chance, but something far more profound? A connection between you and the version of yourself already experiencing unlimited abundance. But before we begin, please hit the like button and let me know where in the world you're watching from today. It's always fascinating seeing who's joining us from around the world. You see, when you clicked on this video, you sent a powerful signal to the universe. Not just any signal, but one that says, I'm ready. Ready to step into alignment with the version of you who isn't constantly checking bank balances or worrying about next month's bills. Has this ever happened to you? That strange feeling of being pulled towards something without fully understanding why? That's because deep within the quantum field, the invisible realm where all possibilities exist simultaneously, there's already a version of you living the financial reality you've been dreaming about. This isn't wishful thinking or New Age philosophy. It's precisely what Florence Scovel Shinn taught decades ago when she revealed how our assumptions, when persisted in, eventually harden into fact. Think about it for a moment. Every morning, that wealthy version of you wakes up with a profound sense of peace and certainty about money. They don't hope for financial miracles or anxiously check their accounts. They exist in a state where abundance is simply their baseline reality, their normal. And right now, you're being invited to step into that same energy field. What you're about to discover might surprise you because it goes against everything conventional wisdom teaches about creating wealth. Most people believe they need to chase money, struggle for it, sacrifice for it. But what if the truth is exactly the opposite? What if the key to manifesting large sums of money isn't about the chase at all, but about embodying the energy of already having it? Stay with me until the end of this video, because I'm going to show you how to stop trying to convince the universe that you deserve wealth, and instead convince yourself, which is where the real magic happens. I'll reveal why most manifestation attempts fail, and the subtle but critical shift that changes everything. You didn't stumble upon this content by accident. Something within you recognized a frequency, a vibration that matches where you're heading, not where you've been. That recognition is your higher self, gently nudging you toward alignment with the version of you who already lives in abundance. Now imagine for a moment what it would feel like to log into your accounts and see numbers so substantial they make you smile. Not because it's surprising, but because it feels right, natural, like coming home to yourself. That feeling isn't as far away as you might think. In fact, it's just a frequency shift away. The wealthy version of you isn't some distant future possibility. They exist right now, waiting for you to simply step into their reality. And today, I'm going to show you exactly how to do that, starting with understanding the profound truth about how reality actually works. If you resonated with this wealth consciousness approach, make sure to hit subscribe so you don't miss our upcoming videos on how to further embody your abundant self. You see, what Florence Scovel Shinn discovered decades ago remains one of the most profound hidden truths about our reality. The world doesn't respond to what we want. It responds to what we assume to be true. This is the essence of the law of assumption, and it's transforming lives once you truly grasp its power. Think about how most people approach their financial journey. They hope things will get better. They wish for that promotion or unexpected windfall. They pray that somehow, some way, their situation will improve. But here's the revelation that changed everything for me. Hope is actually the energy of lack. When you say, I hope this works out, you're unconsciously broadcasting to the universe, I don't have it yet. And the universe, being the perfect mirror that it is, simply reflects back that exact frequency, the frequency of not having. This is why so many people remain stuck in the same financial patterns despite their best efforts and positive thinking. The mindset shift required here is subtle, but incredibly powerful. Instead of hoping for wealth, you must make the decision to assume it as your current reality, not your future reality, but your present state of being. This isn't about denial or pretending. It's about understanding the mechanics of manifestation at their core. I remember when I first implemented this principle in my own life. I was drowning in debt, constantly worried about money, and nothing seemed to be working. The impact came when I stopped saying, "I want financial freedom," and started embodying, "I am financially free." My circumstances didn't change overnight, but my energy did, and that made all the difference. Behind the scenes of every manifestation is this fundamental principle. Your assumptions, when persisted in, harden into fact. Not because of magic or mysticism, but because your assumptions dictate your energy determines your actions, and your actions create your results. It's a natural law as reliable as gravity. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic by examining what happens in your body when you shift from hoping to assuming. Because this isn't just a mental exercise, it's a complete energetic transformation that affects every cell, every decision, every interaction you have with money. Most people make the critical error of trying to affirm wealth while their nervous system is still programmed for scarcity. They say the right words but feel the wrong feelings. They intellectually understand abundance but emotionally live in lack. And in this inner conflict, lack always wins until you learn to embody wealth at the level of identity. The wealthy version of you doesn't hope for opportunities, they expect them. They don't wish for financial breakthroughs, they assume them as inevitable. This isn't arrogance, it's alignment with a truth that already exists in the quantum field. And your journey to that alignment begins with recognizing where your current assumptions might be creating the very financial reality you're trying to escape. If this resonates with you on a deep level, write in the comments, "Assumption becomes my reality," so I know you're tracking with this life-changing principle. Let's explore what actually happens when you persist in an assumption. Florence Scovel Shinn wasn't just sharing spiritual philosophy, she was revealing a blueprint for reality creation. When you truly assume that money flows to me easily and hold that assumption without wavering, you're not just engaging in positive thinking, you're activating a profound transformation at the subatomic level. Your persistent assumptions are like seeds planted in fertile soil. At first, nothing appears to be happening on the surface. This is where most people abort the process, assuming it isn't working. But beneath the surface, roots are forming, molecules are rearranging, and a new reality is taking shape. The germination period between assuming and manifesting isn't empty space. It's where the real alchemy happens. The revelation that changed my entire journey with manifestation was understanding that this process operates on quantum principles, not wishful thinking. Every thought you consistently think creates neural pathways in your brain. Every emotion you regularly feel changes your biochemistry. Every assumption you persist in literally reshapes your energy field. And that field is what reality responds to. But here's the breakthrough insight that most manifestation teachers miss. The reason most people fail isn't that they don't understand the way process intellectually. It's that they're engaging in what I call surface-level assumption. They're performing abundance rather than embodying it. Behind the scenes of every successful manifestation is a complete alignment between your conscious mind, your subconscious programming, and your physical body. Most people are walking contradictions, speaking prosperity while their shoulders are hunched in scarcity, affirming abundance while their stomach is tight with anxiety about bills. This inner conflict is detectable at an energetic level. It's like broadcasting on two different radio frequencies simultaneously and wondering why you're getting static instead of a clear signal. The universe doesn't respond to your words or even your conscious thoughts. It responds to your dominant vibration, which includes your subconscious beliefs, your emotional baseline, and your physical state. This journey of alignment with your wealthy self continues beyond this video. Subscribe now to join our community of conscious creators who are stepping into their abundant reality together. I'd love to have you with us. The mindset shift required is moving from performance to embodiment. This isn't about convincing others you're wealthy. It's about convincing yourself at the deepest level. When your cells believe it, when your nervous system is calibrated to it, when your identity is aligned with it. That's when the external world has no choice but to reflect it back to you. I discovered that the key difference between those who manifest consistently and those who struggle isn't knowledge or technique. It's authenticity. When you genuinely feel wealthy before the money arrives, when you move through the world with the quiet confidence of someone who knows abundance is their birthright, that's when doors begin opening in seemingly miraculous ways. Let's explore how to bridge this gap between intellectual understanding and embodied knowing. How to move from merely affirming wealth to becoming a living, breathing expression of it. Because once your whole being is aligned with abundance, you'll notice something fascinating. The universe starts responding not to what you're asking for, but to who you've become. If you recognize this disconnect between what you say you believe and what your body actually feels, write in the comments, ready for full alignment, and let's continue this journey together. So what does it really mean to act as if? There's a profound misconception here that has sabotaged countless manifestation journeys. Most people interpret this principle as putting on a performance, pretending to be wealthy while knowing deep down they're not. But that's precisely why it often doesn't work. The universe doesn't respond to your acting skills, it responds to your energetic truth. The breakthrough revelation is that acting as if isn't about pretending at all. It's about recognition and resonance. In the quantum field, every possible version of you already exists, including the version who has financial abundance beyond your current imagination. This isn't metaphorical. Quantum physics has demonstrated that particles exist in multiple states simultaneously until observed. Your consciousness works in a similar way. When you genuinely act as if, you're not fabricating a fake reality. You're tuning into a frequency that already exists. You're aligning your current awareness with the version of you who already experiences wealth as their normal. This subtle distinction makes all the difference between manifestation that works and wishful thinking that doesn't. I've noticed in my own journey and in working with thousands of clients that there comes a pivotal moment, a decision point, where your old story about money simply stops fitting who you've become. It's like wearing clothes you've outgrown. They restrict your movement and no longer represent your identity. Your narrative about money being scarce, difficult, or something you have to struggle for suddenly feels foreign to your evolving consciousness. This dissonance is actually a powerful signpost on your transformation path. It means you're at the edge of a paradigm shift. When your old beliefs create discomfort, it's because your energy has already begun resonating with a new possibility. The discomfort isn't something to avoid. It's evidence of your expansion. Behind the scenes of every financial breakthrough is this moment of narrative collapse, where the story you've been telling yourself about money simply can't contain who you're becoming. The mindset that served you at one stage of your journey becomes the very limitation preventing your next evolution. What's happening energetically is fascinating. Your vibrational signature is already shifting to match that of your wealthy self, but your conscious mind is often the last to get the memo. You might still be thinking scarcity thoughts while your energy body is already recalibrating to abundance. This creates a temporary turbulence that many mistake for failure when it's actually a sign of imminent breakthrough. The key insight here is understanding that this tipping point isn't something to push through, it's something to surrender into. Rather than forcing the old story to work better, allow it to dissolve completely. The wealthy version of you doesn't have to convince themselves they're abundant. They simply are. Their decisions, posture, tone of voice, and energy naturally express this truth without effort. Let's explore what happens when you fully release the identity that's anchored to financial struggle and step into resonance with your quantum wealthy self, the version of you that already exists beyond time and space. If you're feeling that inner knowing that your old money story just doesn't fit who you're becoming anymore, write "I'm outgrowing limitation" in the comments. Have you noticed those strange coincidences happening in your life lately? The repeating numbers on license plates or digital clocks? That perfect song lyric playing at exactly the moment you needed to hear it? The name of a book or concept appearing 3 times in a single day? These aren't random glitches in the matrix, they're profound signposts on your journey of alignment. When you begin shifting your energy field to match that of your wealthy self, the universe responds with these synchronicities as confirmation. Think of them as breadcrumbs leading you toward your aligned reality. They're cosmic whispers saying, yes, you're tuning into the right frequency. Keep going. The revelation here is that these signs often appear before any physical evidence of wealth manifests. They're the bridge between energetic shift and material reality. Behind the scenes of manifestation is this fascinating intermediate phase where the quantum field begins reorganizing before your 3D reality catches up. Most people miss these subtle signals entirely or dismiss them as meaningless coincidences. But when you recognize them as confirmation of your expanding consciousness, they become powerful allies in maintaining your new vibration. Now, let's address perhaps the most fundamental paradigm shift required for true manifestation. Moving from, I'll believe it when I see it, to I see it because I believe it. This reversal represents a complete transformation in how you understand reality creation. The conventional mindset waits for external evidence before adjusting internal beliefs, but this approach keeps you locked in your current circumstances. The breakthrough insight that changed everything for me was recognizing that physical reality is actually the effect, not the cause. It's the trailing edge of consciousness, not the leading edge. In other words, what you see around you right now, including your financial situation, is the result of past beliefs, not the determiner of future possibilities. This mindset revolution demands that you develop a new relationship with evidence. Rather than requiring proof before believing, you understand that your belief is what generates the proof. This isn't magical thinking. It's aligned with quantum principles where the observer affects the observed. Your consciousness isn't passively witnessing reality. It's actively creating it through expectation and assumption. The impact of this shift cannot be overstated. When you truly embody, I see it because I believe it, you stop needing constant reassurance from your external world. You recognize that your current financial circumstances are simply echoes of past consciousness, not limitations on your future abundance. This frees you to hold a vibration of wealth regardless of what your bank account temporarily shows. What's happening during this process is a complete rewiring of your perception. You're training yourself to see through the eyes of your wealthy self rather than through the lens of lack. This new vision doesn't deny current challenges, but simply refuses to use them as the basis for identity or prediction. Your wealthy self doesn't ignore bills. They simply view them from a completely different perspective. Let's explore how to consciously cultivate this new vision so you can begin interpreting even seemingly negative financial situations as stepping stones rather than obstacles on your abundance journey. If you've been noticing these mysterious synchronicities appearing in your life recently, write "signs are everywhere" in your comments and let me know what patterns you've been seeing. What we're doing here goes far beyond learning manifestation techniques. Techniques have their place, but they're like trying to fix a computer by adjusting the monitor settings. The real transformation happens at a much deeper level. It's an energetic shift that changes your entire state of being. When this shift occurs, you'll notice something remarkable. The way you physically move through the world changes. Your posture straightens. Your breathing deepens. Your facial expressions relax. Even your voice takes on a different tone. This isn't something you're consciously doing. It's the natural expression of your new energetic blueprint. And these subtle physical changes send powerful signals to both your subconscious mind and the quantum field. The revelation that transformed my own relationship with wealth was understanding that these energetic shifts affect reality much faster than any visualization exercise or affirmation. Routine. When your entire field is resonating with abundance, you become a walking invitation for wealth. People feel it when they interact with you. Opportunities are magnetically drawn to this frequency. Doors open not because you're pushing, but because you're vibrating at a frequency that unlocks them. Now, let's explore perhaps the most liberating insight on this journey. The wealth you desire isn't something you need to chase or compete for. It's already assigned to you. This perspective completely dismantles the scarcity mindset that says there's only so much to go around. The truth is far more expansive and empowering. In the infinite field of potential, there already exists a reality where you have exactly the amount of wealth you desire. It's like your name is already on it. This isn't wishful thinking. It's understanding how the universe operates. Your job isn't to make it happen through force or hustle. It's to align with that reality through frequency and allow it to manifest. Think of it like this. Imagine you're trying to tune a radio to your favorite station. The broadcast is already happening whether your radio is tuned to it or not. You don't have to create the broadcast. You simply have to find the right frequency. Your wealth is broadcasting on a specific frequency right now. Your work is tuning your personal energy system to receive it. The mindset revolution here is moving from acquisition to alignment. Most people are taught to acquire wealth, to chase it, earn it, compete for it, win it. But that perspective keeps wealth at arm's length, always something outside yourself that you're trying to grab. The breakthrough happens when you shift to alignment, recognizing that wealth is already yours in the quantum field, and your only task is stepping into resonance with it. Behind the scenes of every significant financial transformation is this fundamental shift from chasing to allowing. The person who manifests with ease isn't working harder than everyone else. They've simply mastered the art of energetic alignment. They've recognized that wealth isn't something they do, it's something they are. Let's explore what happens in your field of awareness when you fully release the chase mentality and step into complete alignment with the wealth that's already assigned to you. Because when you make this shift, you enter a state of receiving that transforms not just your finances, but every aspect of your experience. If you're ready to stop chasing wealth and start aligning with what's already yours, write "My name is on it" in the comments. One of the most profound revelations on this journey is recognizing how many people spend their entire lives in what I call the waiting room. They're sitting there day after day, year after year, waiting for permission to step into their abundant self. They tell themselves, "When I have enough money in the bank, then I'll feel secure. When my business hits 6 figures, then I'll feel successful. When I'm debt-free, then I'll feel worthy." But this waiting room mentality is perhaps the greatest sabotage to your manifestation journey. It creates a paradox where you're waiting for external conditions to change before you change internally. Yet the external can only shift when you've already made the internal transformation. It's the ultimate catch-22 that keeps countless souls trapped in financial limbo. The breakthrough decision that changes everything is refusing to wait another moment. It's recognizing that worthiness isn't something you earn when circumstances improve. It's your birthright that you claim regardless of circumstances. This profound mindset shift doesn't deny your current reality. It simply refuses to use that reality as your identity or as the basis for how you feel. Behind the scenes of every wealth transformation is this pivotal moment where someone decides, "I'm done waiting. I'm stepping into my abundant self now, not when conditions improve." This isn't arrogance or delusion. It's alignment with a deeper truth about who you really are beneath the temporary financial situation you're experiencing. Now let's talk about what it really means to live as though wealth is already yours. Many people misinterpret this principle and think it means spending money you don't have or putting on a show of wealth. That's not it at all. Living from the state of already having wealth is about something much more subtle and powerful. It's about your energetic baseline. When wealth is your baseline, it affects every aspect of how you move through the world. It's not something you consciously perform. It's who you are at a cellular level. It influences how you speak about money, how you make decisions, how you respond to opportunities, and even how you handle challenges. The wealthy version of you doesn't panic when unexpected expenses arise. They handle them with ease, knowing that more is always coming. The revelation that changed my entire journey was understanding that this isn't about pretending, it's about remembering. Somewhere in the quantum field, you already exist as the wealthy version of yourself. You're not creating something new. You're aligning with something that already is. This perspective completely transforms your relationship with the manifestation process. When you live from the state of already having wealth, you stop sending mixed signals to the universe. Instead of saying, "I want abundance," while emanating lack, your entire being broadcasts a coherent message, "I am abundance." And in that energetic clarity, physical reality has no choice but to reorganize around your new frequency. The impact of this shift is so profound because it completely bypasses the struggle that most people associate with wealth creation. Instead of pushing and forcing, you're allowing and receiving. Instead of chasing and grasping, you're embodying and attracting. It's the difference between swimming upstream and flowing with the current. Both get you moving, but only one requires exhausting effort. Let's explore how to move from intellectually understanding this concept to embodying it so deeply that it becomes your new normal, regardless of what your temporary bank balance might show. If you're ready to step out of the waiting room and claim your abundant self right now, write "No more waiting" in the comments. Let me share a counterintuitive truth that revolutionized my understanding of manifestation. Money doesn't show up because you need it. It shows up because you match its frequency. This explains one of the great mysteries many of us have observed: how two people with identical skills, education, and opportunities can experience dramatically different financial outcomes. The difference isn't in their external qualifications, it's in their internal resonance. Think about it this way. Have you ever noticed how money seems to flow more easily to those who already have it? This isn't some cosmic injustice. It's a reflection of a fundamental principle. Those who already have money typically aren't operating from a desperate energy of needing more. They've already matched the frequency of wealth, so more wealth naturally gravitates toward them. It's not about deserving, it's about resonating. The revelation that changed everything for me was recognizing that when you truly need money, when you're anxious about it, worried about it, obsessing over it, you're actually pushing it away energetically. That desperate need creates a vibration that repels rather than attracts. The moment you shift from needing money to knowing it's already yours in consciousness, the physical manifestation begins its journey toward you. Now, let's observe something fascinating about how wealthy people move through the world. Have you ever been around someone who's truly abundant? Not just financially comfortable, but deeply wealthy? There's something different about their presence, a quiet steadiness, a lack of franticness or grasping energy. This isn't a persona they've cultivated. It's the natural expression of their relationship with abundance. In their mind, large sums of money aren't extraordinary events. They're simply normal. They don't get overly excited about financial windfalls because those experiences align with their baseline expectation. They don't panic about expenses because they operate from a place of knowing more is always coming. The mindset breakthrough here is understanding that this way of being isn't the result of having money. It's often the cause. The steadiness comes first. The physical wealth follows. When you embody this steady, assured energy before your bank account reflects it, you're creating the perfect conditions for manifestation to occur. Behind the scenes of wealth creation is this subtle but powerful transformation in how you physically move through the world. Your gestures become more deliberate. Your pace becomes unhurried. Your voice carries a natural authority that doesn't need to prove itself. These aren't affectations. They're authentic expressions of an inner state that knows abundance is your natural condition. What's happening on an energetic level is profound. When you move through the world this way, you're sending clear signals to both your subconscious mind and the quantum field. Each steady step, each relaxed breath, each unhurried decision reinforces the reality where wealth is already yours. And as those signals gain coherence and strength, your external circumstances begin reorganizing to match. The journey of transformation isn't about learning to act wealthy. It's about unlearning the patterns of scarcity that have become habitual. It's about remembering your natural state of abundance rather than trying to create something foreign to your being. Because the truth is, wealth isn't something you achieve, it's something you allow yourself to be. Let's explore how to intentionally cultivate this wealthy way of moving through the world, not as a strategy for getting rich, but as an authentic expression of who you already are in the quantum field. If you've noticed how your energy around money directly affects its flow in your life, write "energy precedes matter" in the comments. Here's where most people get stuck in their manifestation practice. They're putting on a performance rather than creating an authentic shift. They recite affirmations without feeling them. They visualize abundance, while their body remains tense with scarcity. They say the right words while their energy tells a completely different story. And then they wonder why the universe isn't responding. The hidden truth that revolutionized my own journey was understanding that the universe doesn't respond to your words, your vision boards, or even your conscious intentions. It responds to your true vibration, the energetic signal you're broadcasting on all levels of your being. And that vibration isn't something you can fake or force. It's the sum total of your conscious thoughts, subconscious beliefs, emotional patterns, and physical state. This is why surface-level practices often yield disappointing results. You can't just think wealthy thoughts for 20 minutes during your morning meditation and then spend the rest of the day emanating stress about money. The universe doesn't average out your vibrations. It responds to your dominant frequency. And your dominant frequency is what's wired into your nervous system, not what you're temporarily focusing on. The revelation that changed everything for me was recognizing that true transformation requires rewiring your default state, the way your body feels and responds when you're not consciously thinking about abundance. It's about creating new neural pathways so powerful that wealth becomes your baseline, your automatic setting, your natural way of being in the world. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic by sharing a visualization. Practice that bypasses the common manifestation pitfalls. Instead of imagining dramatic windfalls or life-changing lottery wins, try this. Picture an ordinary Tuesday morning in your wealthy reality. Not a special occasion, just a normal day. You wake up without an alarm because your body naturally knows when it's rested. There's no urgency in your chest, no immediate thought of checking your bank balance or worrying about pending bills. You stretch and feel the quality of your bedding. The morning light filters through windows that frame exactly the view you love. As you move through your morning routine, notice the absence of financial anxiety. Bills arrive, and you handle them with ease. They're just minor outgoing transfers in an account that's always full. You make decisions about your day based on what brings you joy and fulfillment, not what you can afford. Money is simply a background element, like oxygen, essential, but not something you need to constantly monitor or worry about. The mindset breakthrough here is focusing on the ordinary rather than the extraordinary. Most people visualize dramatic wealth events because they don't truly believe abundance could be their normal state. But when you can fully imagine and embody the feeling of wealth as your baseline, as the backdrop of an ordinary Tuesday, you're creating a much more powerful alignment with that reality. What's happening during this visualization is profound. You're not just creating mental pictures. You're literally rewiring your nervous system. Each time you fully embody the feeling of wealth as your normal state, you're strengthening neural pathways that make that state more accessible. You're teaching your body a new normal so deeply that it begins to expect abundance rather than scarcity. The journey from performance to embodiment is the difference between wearing a costume and undergoing a metamorphosis. One is temporary and external. The other is permanent and begins at the core of your being. If you can feel the difference between performing abundance and truly embodying it, write "authentic vibration" in the comments. There's a profound distinction I've observed between those who occasionally experience financial windfalls and those who maintain consistent abundance. For most people, wealth is treated as an event, something that happens to them through luck, timing, or intense effort. They win something, inherit something, or finally break through after years of struggle. But for the truly wealthy, abundance isn't an event at all. It's their baseline state of being. This perspective shift creates an entirely different relationship with money. When wealth is your baseline, you're not constantly looking for the next big break or living in anticipation of some future windfall. You're simply existing in a reality where financial abundance is your normal. This isn't about denial or pretending. It's about a genuine inner knowing that transforms how you interact with every aspect of your life. The revelation that changed my entire journey was understanding that this baseline isn't something you achieve through external acquisition. It's something you establish through internal recalibration. You're literally resetting your energetic set point so that abundance becomes your default rather than your exception. And when that shift occurs, the exhausting cycle of chasing and grasping naturally dissolves. Now, let's explore what Florence Scovel Shinn really meant when she taught about assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Many misinterpret this as forcing yourself to be artificially happy or pretending your current challenges don't exist. That's not it at all. What she was illuminating was a profound metaphysical principle about consciousness and reality creation. When you assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you're not denying your current circumstances. You're consciously choosing to place your awareness in a different point in the quantum psi field. You're moving your inner world into alignment with the version of reality where your desire is already manifest, and then holding that position until the outer world catches up. The mindset breakthrough here is understanding that this isn't about fabricating emotions or forcing positivity. It's about tuning into a frequency that already exists. Somewhere in the infinite field of possibilities, there's already a version of reality where you have exactly what you desire. Your job isn't to create that reality, it's to align your consciousness with it until it becomes your dominant experience. Behind the scenes of this practice is something quite remarkable. When you genuinely assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you're literally restructuring your brain. New neural pathways form. Different hormones release. Your entire biochemistry shifts to match the reality you're embodying internally. This isn't just spiritual philosophy, it's supported by what we now understand about neuroplasticity and the mind-body connection. The journey of transformation happens from the inside out. Instead of waiting for circumstances to change so you can finally feel abundant, you cultivate the feeling of abundance first. And that feeling becomes the magnet that draws the corresponding reality to you. It's a complete inversion of how most people approach manifestation, and it's the difference between struggle and flow. What's fascinating about this process is how it affects your decision-making. When you're truly operating from the baseline of wealth, not pretending, but genuinely embodying that state, you naturally make different choices. You recognize opportunities that were invisible before. You take actions aligned with abundance rather than scarcity. Your entire path shifts not because you're forcing it, but because you're navigating from a different internal map. If you've experienced moments where you genuinely felt wealthy before seeing external evidence, drop inside creates outside in the comments. Let's talk about something that trips up even the most dedicated manifestation students, handling your current bills and expenses while you're in this transformation process. Most people approach bill paying with a mixture of resentment, anxiety, and resignation. They sigh heavily as they click Submit Payment, thinking about how much less they have now. This energy creates a constriction around money flow that perpetuates more lack. The transformation happens when you learn to handle your current financial obligations from a completely different energetic state. Instead of dreading bills, you pay them with the same emotional tone a millionaire would use when picking up the lunch tab. There's no drama, no heaviness, just a simple exchange of energy for services received. It's just a minor outgoing, and you know more is already on its way to you. This isn't about being irresponsible or ignoring financial realities. It's about changing the frequency you're emitting while engaging in these necessary transactions. When you pay a bill with gratitude for the service it provided, with ease knowing more is coming, with confidence that this transaction doesn't define your financial state, you're literally rewiring how money behaves in your life. The revelation that revolutionized my relationship with expenses was recognizing that each bill payment is actually an opportunity to practice wealth consciousness. It's a decision point where you can either reinforce scarcity or embody abundance through your emotional response. The wealthy version of you doesn't panic when writing a check. They simply write it and move on, knowing the universe always supports them with more. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic by exploring a profound truth about money that most people never realize. Money has no intrinsic meaning except the meaning you assign to it. This isn't philosophy. It's a practical principle that directly impacts your manifestation journey. When you treat money as scarce, something hard to get, easy to lose, never enough, you're programming it to behave exactly that way in your reality. When you treat it as abundant, flowing easily, always returning, more than sufficient, it responds accordingly. Money is simply energy that amplifies the meaning you've attached to it. The mindset breakthrough here is understanding that your relationship with money isn't dictated by your bank balance. It's created by your perception. Two people with identical financial circumstances can have completely different experiences based solely on the meaning they assign to those numbers. One experiences constant stress and limitation. The other experiences ease and opportunity. Behind the scenes of your money story is this fundamental truth. You're not responding to money. Money is responding to you. Your beliefs, expectations, and emotional patterns around wealth aren't just passive reactions to your circumstances. They're active forces creating those very circumstances. The journey from financial struggle to abundance often begins with this pivotal insight. Money isn't behaving a certain way because that's its nature. It's behaving that way because that's how you've been treating it. And the moment you shift that treatment, the moment you start interacting with money as a friendly ally rather than a scarce resource, the entire dynamic transforms. What's happening energetically when you make this shift is powerful. You're breaking the old agreements you've made with money and establishing new ones based on trust, flow, and abundance. If you're ready to completely transform your relationship with money, write "new money agreement" in the comments. One of the most profound insights that quantum physics has revealed is that we don't live in a single, fixed timeline. We exist in a field of infinite possibilities. Every decision you make, every energy you embody, every frequency you broadcast is essentially selecting which of these infinite timelines you're aligning with. This isn't metaphorical. It's a fundamental aspect of how reality operates at the quantum level. When you consciously step into wealth consciousness, when you make decisions as the version of you who already has abundance, you're literally stepping onto a different timeline where different opportunities, connections, and circumstances exist. It's not that you're changing your current reality through force. You're selecting a different reality track altogether through resonance. The revelation that transformed my own manifestation journey was recognizing that wealthy decisions aren't just about spending or saving. They're about the energy behind every choice you make. When faced with an opportunity, do you evaluate it from scarcity? Can I afford this? Or from abundance? Is this aligned with my wealthy self? That single shift in perspective places you on an entirely different trajectory. Think about the decisions you've made in the past week. How many were made from your current financial identity, and how many were made from your wealthy self? Each choice is like a fork in the road, directing you either toward the timeline where struggle continues or the one where abundance flourishes. The power of this awareness cannot be overstated. Now, let's explore what happens in that fascinating gap between making the energetic shift and seeing physical results. Most people give up during this phase because they don't understand the mechanics of manifestation. They change their energy for a few days, don't see immediate results, and conclude it doesn't work. But what they're missing is the pre-manifestation phase, the most crucial part of the entire process. Before wealth physically appears in your bank account, it passes through your energy field in subtle forms. You'll notice strange coincidences. A book about investing falls off the shelf in front of you. You randomly meet someone who works in exactly the industry you've been thinking about. An idea for a project or business wakes you up at 3 a.m. These aren't random events. They're the early signs that your reality is reorganizing around your new frequency. The mindset breakthrough is learning to recognize and honor these subtle signs as confirmation rather than dismissing them as meaningless. Each synchronicity, each random connection, each spontaneous idea is the universe's way of saying, "I hear you, we're in motion." Keep holding the frequency. Behind the scenes of manifestation is this invisible process where energy shifts precede physical reality. It's like the moment between planting a seed and seeing the first sprout break through the soil. Just because you can't see the germination happening underground doesn't mean nothing is happening. In fact, the most important part of the process is taking place in the unseen. The journey of transformation requires developing a new relationship with time and evidence. Most people want instant, tangible proof that their energy shift is working. But the wealthy version of you understands that manifestation has its own perfect timing, and that recognizing the subtle signs of pre-manifestation is actually accelerating the process. If you've been noticing these strange coincidences and synchronicities appearing in your life lately, write "I see the signs" in the comments. Here's a profound realization that completely transforms how we approach the practice of living as if. The universe doesn't need convincing. You do. Many people approach manifestation as if they're trying to persuade some external force to grant their wishes, to convince the universe that they deserve abundance. But that's a fundamental misunderstanding of how reality creation works. The revelation that changed everything for me was recognizing that the universe is already aligned with all possibilities, including your wealthy self. It's not withholding abundance until you prove yourself worthy. The only one who needs convincing is you. When you live as if, you're not performing for some cosmic audience. You're reprogramming your own consciousness. You're dismantling the internal barriers that have been blocking what was always available to you. This insight shifts the entire manifestation journey from external to internal. Instead of wondering, "What do I need to do to make the universe give me wealth?" you begin asking, "What do I need to shift within myself to allow the wealth that's already mine?" That single perspective change transforms manifestation from begging to allowing, from chasing to receiving. The mindset breakthrough happens when you realize that once you've truly convinced yourself, not just intellectually, but at the level of identity, reality has no choice but to mirror that conviction back to you. It's not because the universe rewards your belief. It's because your belief literally alters how you perceive and interact with a world. New opportunities become visible. Different decisions feel natural. Your energy shifts in ways others can feel. Now, let's take this from philosophical insight to practical transformation. The journey to embodying your wealthy self doesn't require dramatic life changes or grand gestures. It begins with something much simpler, choosing one daily action and performing it today from your wealthy state of being. Select something you do regularly, checking your bank balance, grocery shopping, paying a bill, deciding whether to go out for dinner. Then consciously step into how your wealthy self would approach that exact same action. Would they check the balance with curiosity rather than anxiety? Would they choose groceries based on quality and preference rather than just price? Would they pay the bill with ease and gratitude rather than resentment? The power of this practice lies in its simplicity. By focusing on just one action, you make the shift manageable and specific. You're not trying to transform your entire life overnight. You're creating a single point of alignment with your wealthy self. And each time you do this, you're teaching your nervous system, "This is who I am now." Behind the scenes of this practice is a fascinating neurological process. Each time you perform an action from your wealthy state, you're creating new neural pathways. You're literally rewiring your brain to make abundance your default setting rather than your exception. The more you practice, the stronger these pathways become, until eventually the wealthy response becomes automatic. no conscious effort required. The journey of transformation doesn't happen in grand, sweeping changes. It happens in these small, consistent moments of alignment. Each time you choose the wealthy response over the scarcity response, you're casting a vote for your new identity. And eventually, those votes create a landslide of change in your energy field and consequently, your physical reality. If you're committed to implementing this practice today, write one wealthy action daily in the comments and share which action you'll be performing from your wealthy state. What we're witnessing here is the natural evolution of your abundance journey. In the beginning, embodying wealth consciousness requires conscious effort. You're deliberately shifting your thoughts, monitoring your language, and intentionally living as if. But something remarkable happens with consistent practice. This state begins to integrate into your identity so deeply that expecting wealth becomes as natural as breathing. This transformation doesn't happen overnight. It's a gradual recalibration of your entire system, your thoughts, emotions, physical responses, and energetic signature. But with each wealthy action you take, with each abundant thought you cultivate, you're strengthening new neural pathways until eventually they become your default programming. The revelation that changed everything for me was recognizing that manifestation isn't about perpetual conscious effort. It's about reaching a tipping point where wealth consciousness becomes self-sustaining. There comes a day when you no longer need to remind yourself to think abundantly because abundance has become woven into the fabric of who you are. You simply are someone who naturally expects large sums of money to arrive in your life. And because that expectation has become your energetic baseline, they do. This integration isn't just psychological. It's a complete rewiring of your being. When wealth expectation becomes your natural state, your body language shifts without effort. Your voice carries a different resonance. Your decisions flow from abundance automatically. You're not performing wealth. You're embodying it at a cellular level. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic by examining one of the most powerful practical shifts you can make on this journey. It's a simple language pattern that completely transforms your energetic broadcast. Start catching yourself whenever you think or say, "I hope this works out." This phrase, though seemingly innocuous, is actually broadcasting uncertainty and doubt into the quantum field. The moment you notice this thought pattern emerging, immediately replace it with, "This always works out for me." Feel the profound energetic difference between these two statements. One places you in the waiting room of life, passively hoping for a positive outcome you don't fully expect. The other places you in the driver's seat, embodying a version of you for whom things consistently align in beneficial ways. This language shift isn't just semantic. It's a fundamental recalibration of your relationship with reality. When you declare, "This always works out for me," you're not being arrogant or delusional. You're aligning with a quantum truth about your wealthy self. You're stepping into resonance with the version of you who genuinely experiences life this way. Behind the scenes of this practice is a profound reprogramming of your subconscious mind. Your subconscious doesn't distinguish between what's real and what's imagined. It simply responds to the instructions you give it through your language and emotional state. When you consistently feed it the message, "This always works out for me," it begins creating that exact experience in your reality. The journey from hope to knowing represents one of the most significant mindset transformations you'll experience. Hope keeps you tethered to uncertainty. Knowing anchors you in conviction. And it's from that place of unwavering conviction that true manifestation occurs, not as something extraordinary, but as the natural consequence of who you've become. If you've caught yourself hoping things work out and are ready to step into knowing they already have, write, "It always works out for me," in the comments. There comes a pivotal moment on this journey where everything changes, where what began as a conscious mental exercise transforms into a fully embodied state of being. This is the quantum shift, the moment when wealth consciousness stops being something you practice and becomes who you are. It's like the difference between learning to play piano and becoming a pianist. One is an activity you engage in. The other is your identity. This transformation doesn't happen in a flash of light or with dramatic fanfare. It occurs gradually through consistent alignment until one day you realize you're no longer working to maintain an abundant frequency. You're simply emanating it naturally. Your body has memorized this state. Your nervous system has integrated it. Your energy field has stabilized in this new configuration. The revelation that changed everything in my own journey was recognizing that this quantum shift isn't something you make happen through force or discipline. It's something you allow to happen through surrender and alignment. It's the natural consequence of repeatedly choosing the wealthy perspective until it becomes your default. What's happening beneath the surface during this transition is fascinating. Neurologically, you're creating such strong neural pathways for abundance that they become your brain's preferred routes. Energetically, you're calibrating your field to a specific frequency until it holds that resonance without effort. Psychologically, you're integrating wealth into your core identity until it's no longer a destination, but your starting point. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic by addressing one of the most common ways people unknowingly sabotage their manifestation journey. Even after doing everything else right, shifting their energy, embodying wealth consciousness, living as if, many still block their momentum by obsessing over exactly how the money will arrive. They wonder, will it come through a promotion, a new client, an investment, a windfall? They spend hours contemplating and worrying about the specific mechanisms of manifestation. And in that very process, they shift themselves from the already done state back into the still waiting state. Think about it. If you already had millions in your account, would you be constantly wondering how the next dollar will arrive? Of course not. You'd be focused on what to do with your wealth, not how to get it. By fixating on the how, you're unconsciously broadcasting that you don't truly believe it's done. You're still in pursuit mode, still in lack. The mindset breakthrough here is understanding that the quantum field responds to your what, the wealth itself, not your how, the specific pathway to it. When you specify exactly how money must come to you, you're actually limiting the infinite ways the universe could deliver your manifestation. You're trying to cross an ocean, but insisting on only one specific boat. Behind the scenes of manifestation is this beautiful truth. The universe always finds the path of least resistance. The how that brings your wealth might be something you've never even considered. A synchronicity so perfect, it could never have been planned. Your job isn't to figure out the mechanism. It's to maintain the state of already having while remaining open to all possibilities. If you recognize how trying to control the how has been limiting your manifestation, write "I surrender the how" in the comments. Have you ever noticed this fascinating distinction between those who struggle financially and those who maintain consistent wealth? It's not just about the numbers in their account. It's about what occupies their mental space. When you observe truly wealthy individuals, you'll see they spend almost no time thinking about how to get money. Instead, their mental energy is devoted to how to use money effectively. This shift in focus represents a profound transformation in your relationship with abundance. When you're operating from scarcity, your thoughts constantly revolve around getting more. The next paycheck, the next client, the next opportunity to increase your income. But when you step into the identity of your wealthy self, that preoccupation dissolves. You're no longer fixated on the acquisition of money because that's already your baseline assumption. The revelation that changed my entire approach to wealth was recognizing that this isn't just a psychological trick. It's a reflection of an entirely different identity. If you already had millions in your account, you wouldn't wake up wondering if you'll have enough this month. Your mental bandwidth would be dedicated to more expansive questions. How can I grow what I have? Where should I invest next? What impact do I want to create with my resources? Making decisions from a place of overflow rather than scarcity completely transforms not just the choices themselves, but the energy behind them. When you're no longer motivated by fear of not having enough, your decisions come from a place of empowerment, purpose, and possibility. This shift in decision-making is one of the most powerful catalysts for expanded wealth. Now I want to go even deeper into this topic by exploring what Florence Scovel Shinn meant when she taught that true assumption means no longer looking for signs. This insight takes the manifestation journey to an entirely new dimension of mastery. When you first begin practicing the law of assumption, it's natural to look for confirmation that it's working, to search for signs that your new reality is coming. You get excited when you see repeating numbers or encounter unexpected opportunities. These synchronicities are indeed valuable markers on your path, especially in the beginning. But there comes a point in your journey where seeking signs actually keeps you tethered to doubt. Think about it. If you truly believed something was already done, would you need constant reassurance? If you knew with absolute certainty that you were wealthy, would you be looking for proof? The very act of seeking confirmation can subtly reinforce the belief that it isn't yet real. The mindset breakthrough here is understanding that when you truly assume a state, when you fully embody the consciousness of already having wealth, you stop looking for evidence because you're living from the end result. You simply walk through life as if your desired reality is already here, not as a technique to make it happen, but because in your consciousness, it is happening. Behind the scenes of this, evolution is a profound surrender to your new identity. You're no longer trying to manifest wealth. You're simply being wealthy in consciousness first, knowing the physical must follow. This represents complete trust in the creative power of your consciousness and the perfect unfolding of manifestation. If you've recognized how your focus has shifted from getting money to using it wisely, write wealthy decisions daily in the comments. Here's where we arrive at one of the most profound distinctions in the manifestation journey: the difference between attracting from a place of wanting versus attracting from a place of being. Most approaches to wealth creation focus on wanting more money, wanting financial freedom, wanting abundance. But wanting, by its very nature, broadcasts the frequency of not having. It's the energy of gap, of separation, of something outside yourself that you're trying to acquire. The transformation occurs when you shift into attracting from a place of being. This is what acting as if really means. Not pretending to be wealthy while knowing you're not, but genuinely shifting your inner posture so that wealth becomes your normal, your baseline, your natural state. You're not trying to get wealth. You are wealth expressed in human form. The revelation that changed everything for me was understanding that this shift in consciousness isn't just philosophical. It creates a tangible energetic signal that the universe responds to. When you emit the frequency of already being wealthy, rather than pursuing wealth, you become a magnet for the corresponding physical reality. Not because you fooled the universe into thinking you're something you're not, but because you've aligned with a version of yourself that already exists in the quantum field. This alignment is about remembering rather than becoming. The wealthy version of you already exists. You're not creating something new. You're tuning into something that already is. And, in that remembrance, your entire presence shifts without effort or pretense. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic by exploring what actually happens in the quantum field when you consistently embody wealth consciousness. This isn't metaphorical. It's a description of the mechanics of manifestation at the most fundamental level. When you maintain a consistent state of wealth consciousness, the quantum field literally rearranges itself around that state. This isn't wishful thinking. It's aligned with what quantum physics has revealed about the nature of reality, that particles exist in states of probability until observed, and that observation itself influences the outcome. What this means for your manifestation journey is remarkable. As you consistently embody the state of already having wealth, the field of infinite possibilities begins organizing itself to match that frequency. Opportunities that were always there but invisible to your previous consciousness suddenly become apparent. Money you had forgotten about returns to you in unexpected ways. Goals that seemed impossible from your old perspective now appear completely reasonable from your new vantage point. The mindset breakthrough here is recognizing that these changes aren't coincidences or lucky breaks. They're the natural consequence of your shifted state of being. The universe isn't rewarding you for good behavior. It's responding to your energetic broadcast with perfect precision, like a track's like isn't. Just a nice saying. It's describing the fundamental operating principle of reality creation. Behind the scenes of manifestation is this beautiful orchestration where your inner state creates a resonant field that draws corresponding experiences toward you. The journey isn't about making things happen through force. It's about becoming so aligned with your desire that it has no choice but to manifest. If you've experienced this shift from wanting wealth to being wealth, share "I am abundance" embodied in the comments. Here's where many people encounter a significant challenge on their manifestation journey: maintaining the new frequency they've established. You've done the inner work, you've shifted your energy, you've aligned with your wealthy self, and then something happens that seems to contradict your new reality. A bill arrives, an expense occurs, a deal falls through, and suddenly the old frequency comes rushing back in, whispering doubts. See? Nothing's really changed. This isn't working. You're just fooling yourself. This moment represents a critical crossroads in your transformation. The old frequency will always attempt to pull you back to familiar territory, not because it's malicious, but because your nervous system is designed to maintain what's known, even if what's known isn't serving you. These doubts about timing and reality are like gravity trying to pull a rocket back to Earth just as it's breaking free of the atmosphere. The revelation that transformed my journey was recognizing that listening to these doubts isn't just a momentary setback, it's literally stepping out of the wealthy reality you've been cultivating and back into the waiting room. Each time you entertain these thoughts, you're energetically declaring, "I'm not really there yet. I'm still waiting for proof." And that declaration becomes your broadcast to the universe. The mindset breakthrough is understanding that doubt isn't just an emotional state. It's an active choice to realign with your old frequency. And in that moment of challenge, you have the power to make a different choice, to remain steadfast in your wealthy identity regardless of temporary appearances. This isn't denial. It's recognizing that physical reality takes time to catch up to energetic shifts. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic by exploring a powerful strategy for staying anchored in your new frequency, even when external circumstances seem to contradict it. The key is making your wealthy self your most familiar self. Most people treat their wealthy identity as a distant aspiration, a stranger they're trying to become. But transformation accelerates when you make this identity your closest companion, your most intimate relationship. Begin by consciously rehearsing how your wealthy self would react in various situations. How would they respond to unexpected expenses? What language would they use when talking about money? What would their facial expression be when checking their accounts? What decisions would they make about investments, purchases, or opportunities? This practice isn't about pretending, it's about programming. Each time you consciously choose the reaction, language, and feelings of your wealthy self, you're creating neural pathways that make that response more natural and accessible. You're literally rewiring your brain to make wealth consciousness your default setting. The journey of identity transformation requires this deliberate rehearsal until the new identity becomes more familiar than the old one. It's like learning any new skill. At first, it feels foreign and requires conscious effort, but with consistent practice, it becomes second nature. Your wealthy self isn't someone you're trying to become. It's someone you're remembering you already are. What's happening beneath the surface during this practice is a profound recalibration of your subconscious programming. Your subconscious mind doesn't distinguish between what you're vividly imagining and what you're physically experiencing. Each time you rehearse your wealthy self's reactions, you're creating memory imprints that your subconscious accepts as real experience. If you've begun the practice of consciously responding as your wealthy self would, write "identity shift activated" in the comments. One of the most profound insights from quantum physics is that every possible reality already exists in potential form before it manifests in your physical experience. This isn't metaphorical. It's a scientific understanding of how reality operates at its most fundamental level. The wealthy version of your life, with all its abundance and ease, already exists in the quantum field as a complete possibility. It's not something you need to create from scratch. It's something you need to tune into and align with. Think of it like a radio dial, with infinite stations broadcasting simultaneously. The station where you're wealthy isn't something that will exist someday in the future. It's broadcasting right now. Your job isn't to build the station. It's to tune your receiver to that frequency and maintain that tuning long enough for your physical reality to reorganize around it. The revelation that transformed my understanding was recognizing that manifestation isn't a process of creation, but a process of selection. You're not making something out of nothing. You're selecting which existing potential becomes your experience through the frequency you consistently maintain. This completely shifts how you approach the manifestation journey, from trying to force something new into existence to allowing something that already exists to become visible. When you fully grasp this principle, patience takes on a new meaning. You're not waiting for something to happen. You're holding steady while the invisible becomes visible. It's like developing a photograph in a dark room. The image is already there on the paper. It just needs time and the right conditions to reveal itself. Your job is to maintain the frequency of wealth long enough for the physical to catch up with the energetic. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic by exploring one of the most fascinating aspects of this transition period, the appearance of strange synchronicities as your new reality approaches. As the gap between your energetic state and your physical reality begins to close, the universe starts sending unmistakable signals that transformation is underway. You might notice strangers randomly saying phrases that directly relate to what you've been focusing on. Number sequences like 111, 222, or 555 seem to follow you everywhere. On clocks, license plates, receipts. Dreams become unusually vivid, often featuring elements of the wealthy lifestyle you're embodying. Song lyrics suddenly seem to be speaking directly to your situation. These aren't coincidences. They're what I call reality bleed-through, the edges of your new reality beginning to peek through the veil. The mindset breakthrough is learning to recognize these synchronicities not as random occurrences, but as confirmation that you're on the bridge between realities. They're signposts telling you, keep going, it's working, the gap is closing. Most people dismiss these signs as meaningless coincidences, but when you understand the mechanics of manifestation, you recognize them as the quantum field responding to your shift in consciousness. These synchronicities often intensify just before physical manifestation occurs, like the pressure building before a breakthrough. It's as if the universe is saying, can you feel it? Your reality is about to shift. The journey of transformation includes learning to trust these subtle signals rather than demanding concrete proof before believing. Behind the scenes of manifestation is this fascinating interplay between the seen and unseen, where your physical reality is constantly trying to catch up to your energetic state. And these strange coincidences are evidence that the catching up is well underway. If you've been noticing these reality bleed-throughs in your life lately, write, "The veil is thinning" in the comments. We've explored many dimensions of this wealth consciousness journey, but now I want to focus on perhaps the most pivotal insight of all, the understanding that all of these practices aren't about proving anything to the universe. They're about proving it to yourself. The universe already knows your infinite potential. It's your own belief system that needs convincing. When I say, act like it's already done, I'm not suggesting you engage in some elaborate performance for the cosmic forces. I'm inviting you to create evidence for your own consciousness. Each time you walk with the posture of someone who knows their financial security is handled, each time you order your coffee without anxiously checking the price, each time you check your emails expecting good news rather than problems, you're building a case file for your subconscious mind that says, this is real. The transformation happens because your subconscious doesn't distinguish between actual experiences and vividly imagined ones. When you consistently act as if wealth is already yours, your nervous system begins recording these actions as reality. It's literally rewiring your identity from the inside out. This isn't pretending, It's reprogramming at the deepest level. Think about how different your entire presence becomes when you're genuinely operating from the assumption that wealth is already yours. There's a subtle but unmistakable shift in your eyes, your voice, your gestures, all broadcasting a frequency that others can feel. This isn't something you can fake. It emerges naturally from your conviction. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic by sharing what I believe is the most powerful wealth affirmation I've ever encountered. It completely transforms your relationship with manifestation by removing all chasing energy. Wealth already knows where I live. Feel the profound paradigm shift in that statement. It's not saying, I'm trying to attract wealth, or I hope wealth finds me someday. It's declaring that wealth, as an energy, as a consciousness, as a reality, already knows exactly where to find you. It doesn't need to be pursued, convinced, or struggled for. It knows your address. This affirmation works on multiple levels. First, it immediately removes the desperate pursuit energy that actually repels manifestation. Second, it positions you not as the seeker, but as the sought, the one wealth is naturally drawn to. Third, it creates a magnetic frequency that assumes connection rather than separation. Behind the scenes, what's happening when you truly embody this statement is remarkable. You're literally declaring to your nervous system and to the quantum field, I don't need to chase or grasp. I can relax in the knowing that abundance is already on its way to me. This shifts your entire energy signature from one of lack to one of expectant allowing. When wealth already knows where you live, you no longer need to frantically wave your arms to get its attention. You can simply open the door and welcome it home. This isn't passive waiting. It's active allowing, maintaining the precise frequency that makes you findable by the wealth that's already seeking you. If this perspective represents a complete revolution in how you've been thinking about manifestation, write, "My address is clear," in the comments. You've stayed with me this entire journey, and that's not by chance. Something within you recognized the truth of what we've been exploring, that wealth truly does already know where you live. And now that you've absorbed these principles, I want you to notice how differently you move through your day tomorrow. Watch how your energy shifts, how your decisions change, how opportunities seem to appear that weren't visible before. This transformation we've begun together doesn't end when this video stops. In fact, it's just beginning to take root in your consciousness. If you felt that inner knowing, that resonance with what we've discussed today, make this connection official by subscribing to continue this journey of wealth consciousness with me. Each video builds on these fundamental truths, taking you deeper into embodiment. When you truly get what we've explored today, you'll notice the universe responding differently to your presence. Drop wealth. Has my address in the comments if you're committed to maintaining this frequency we've established together. Your comment becomes a declaration, a signal to both your conscious mind and the quantum field that you're no longer waiting or hoping, but knowing. If this conversation has expanded your perspective, leave a like, not for me, but as a signal to yourself that you're aligning with this new frequency. Each action you take, even something as simple as clicking that like button, can be done from your wealthy state of being. There's a video right here that takes these principles even deeper, revealing the next stage of this journey once you've fully embodied wealth consciousness. Click and continue with me there, because this is just the beginning of what happens when you stop chasing wealth and start emanating it.